Welcome to The Explainer. We're going to jump right into a question that's probably on every leader's mind right now. How in the world do you govern a technology that basically reinvents itself every single year? Yeah, we're talking about AI. And the old rule books, they just don't cut it anymore. All right, so this is part 3, the final part of our series on managing policies, projects, and programs with AI. And it's all based on the work from Virtualization Options LLC. Now, in the first parts, we really dug into the problems, the challenges. But now we're getting to the good stuff, the solutions. We're talking about how your organization can finally stop just reacting and start building a real future-proof strategy for this new age of AI. In this question right here, this is really the heart of the entire problem, isn't it? If you're a leader today, you know this feeling. Traditional governance, with its slow, rigid annual planning cycles, it's like trying to catch a bullet train with a horse and buggy. It's just not going to happen. It simply cannot keep up with the insane pace of AI. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we're going to talk about the goal. What does it even mean to be resilient? Then we'll get into the pillars of an AI-ready culture. After that, we'll see how this theory actually works in practice. We're talking numbers here. And finally, we'll wrap up with what we're calling the adaptation imperative. Let's get into it. So, first things first, the goal here isn't just about survival. It's about moving from this constant state of reaction, always playing catch-up with the latest AI breakthrough, to having a truly proactive vision. The whole point is to build an organization that can actually ride these waves of change instead of getting totally swamped by them. And that key word, it's resilience. So what does that actually mean, a resilient organization? Well, think of it like this. It's an organization that has continuous adaptation baked right into its DNA. It's not just about tolerating change. It's about being structured to expect it. It's the difference between a dry, brittle twig that just snaps under pressure and a stalk of bamboo that bends with the wind. That's the goal. Transformation becomes the new normal. And this comparison here really drives the point home. On one side, you've got traditional governance. It's reactive, it's rigid, and honestly, it's usually busy solving yesterday's problems. On the other side, you have resilient governance. It's proactive, it's all about continuous adaptation, and its focus is on preparing for whatever challenges are coming next. Okay, that's the what. But now for the how. How do you actually build this kind of resilience? Well, it all starts with culture. So let's dig into the foundational competencies, the pillars you need to put in place to become a truly AI-ready organization. The source material lays out 4 of them, and they're all critical. We've got cultivating agility, embedding continuous learning, upholding an ethical commitment, and investing in technical talent. It's this mix of process, values, and people that makes all the difference. So let's break each one down. So pillar number 1 is agility. And I really want to stress this. We're not just talking about your dev teams here. This isn't just for software anymore. We're talking about agility as a core competency across the entire organization. That means HR, legal, marketing, you name it. It's about empowering your people to experiment, and maybe even more importantly, creating a culture where it's actually safe to fail, as long as you learn from it. Next up, continuous learning. And look, this can't be some boring, once-a-year training session that everybody clicks through. In the age of AI, learning has to be a constant, daily thing. It means you've got to build it right into the fabric of your culture. Create spaces where people can share what they know, and then, and this is key, actually reward the people who are adapting and growing. Your team's knowledge is your number 1 asset, hands down. Okay, pillar number 3, an unwavering ethical commitment. And folks, this one is completely non-negotiable. This is where ethics stops being a boring compliance checkbox and starts being a core value that guides every single decision. It means having the guts to slow down or even kill a project that looks promising if you can't get the ethics right. That's how you build trust, the real lasting kind. And finally, the 4th pillar. None of this other stuff works without the right people. This means you have to invest, and invest deeply in technical talent. But here's the twist. It's not just about hiring more engineers. The real game changer is when you start embedding AI specialists inside your governance and policy teams. That's how you bridge that massive gap between what the rules say and what the tech can actually do. All right, so those are the pillars. And you might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work? What's the real-world payoff for doing all this? Well, the numbers tell a really interesting story. Get this.
Organizations that actually do this stuff, that integrate their governance and bring tech, legal, and policy folks to the same table, they adapt their AI policies 3 times faster than the ones that stay in their silos. 3 times. In a world where AI changes every few months, being 3 times faster isn't just a small advantage, it's a game-winning one. And it's not just about moving faster. It's about moving safer. Being proactive with governance leads to a 67% reduction in major AI-related incidents. Think about what that means. That's 2/3 of the potential crises. The bad press, the angry customers, the regulatory headaches, they just disappear. That's how you build a rock-solid reputation.
Now, this does take investment. The leading organizations are putting real money behind this, about $2.5 million a year on average. But check out the return on that investment. They're seeing about a 4-to-1 ROI. Why? Because they're avoiding incredibly costly mistakes and getting better results from their projects. So you see, it's not an expense, it's a high-yield investment in your future. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? The organizations that will thrive are not those that resist change, but those that develop the capability for continuous, thoughtful adaptation. It's not about fighting change, and it's not about blindly jumping on every new bandwagon. The winners are going to be the ones that build the muscle for smart, continuous adaptation. So all of this brings us to our final and most important point, the core takeaway, the absolute imperative for anyone trying to find their way forward. And here it is. This is probably the most important thing to remember. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody. So the goal here is not to predict the future of AI. That's a fool's errand. The real goal is to build an organization that is so resilient, so adaptable, that it can thrive in any future, whatever that turns out to be. And this leads to a really critical point, something we have to be super clear about. Everything we're talking about today, these best practices, they are not set in stone. They are constantly, and I mean constantly, evolving. The guidance that's relevant today, based on what we know right now, could be totally different in just a few months. As we all get more experience and our collective knowledge grows, the guidance has to change with it. The only strategy that makes sense is a deep commitment to perpetual learning and always refining your approach. So we'll leave you with this one last thought to take back to your team. Take a hard look at your own organization, your meetings, your approval processes, your culture, and ask yourself this: are we built to react to things that have already happened, or are we built to adapt to whatever is coming next? Because really, the answer to that question is going to define your future in the age of AI.